Hello, hello, and welcome. Today is all about shoulders. So we're going to create a little strength in our shoulders, a little stability, and you'll feel great after. So have a seat with a block under your hips, and we're going to breathe through the nose. I'll go ahead and say hello and welcome. My name is Allison. And we're beginning by just a nice soft breath. In and out of the nose. Go ahead and lift your arms up, straight up. And try not to hike your shoulders up towards your ear. Just leave the shoulder blades kind of dropping down towards your hips. And want you to just see what that feels like. And don't go into any pain or anything. But just see your range of motion there. And what we're going to do is, throughout the practice, we're going to improve our range of motion in the shoulder joint through strength. So we're going to start with something really simple. We're going to grab a couple of yoga tune-up balls. And if you don't have yoga tune-up balls, grab a couple of tennis balls, perhaps. So I want you to start breathing with your ribs. Breathing with your ribs, feeling your diaphragm expand and contract here. And you can always tell if you're breathing with your diaphragm, your ribs generally move as you're breathing. We're going to stick these balls in the armpits. It's a little interesting spot for them. But I just want you to start to relax and notice what's happening as you're breathing here. The neck actually relaxes as you're breathing with these funny little balls under your armpits. It's interesting how these things make a difference to an area that you wouldn't normally think to consider. Slow, smooth breathing. And if you lengthen your exhales, I love to lengthen my exhales because that allows me to feel more relaxation. And we're going to keep one of these and put one of them to the side. We just need one ball for this next one. So I'm going to show you where we're going to roll. We're going to roll along behind the collarbone and then kind of around the shoulder blade and underneath the armpit. So find a little spot on your ball where you can place the ball and roll along that collarbone. And, this is an area where we carry a lot of tension many times. And so if you find an area that has that hurt so good feel, I call it hurt so good. Ooh, that kind of sensation. You might just stay there a little longer and breathe. But the most important part is that you are breathing here. It's going to help some of the tension release. And then make sure you're getting kind of the bottom between the shoulder blade and down around underneath the shoulder blade. And now I'm turning to the side so that I can hit serratus anterior a little bit and get those muscles of serratus turned on and also in a position where they can relax. The funny thing about muscles is, if you have a muscle that doesn't turn on, that's equally as dysfunctional as if it won't turn off. So it's kind of got to have both, to on and off. Check out your range of motion there. I tend to feel like I'm moving a little smoother. How about you? On our second side, we're going for our second shoulder. Now, if you have an injured shoulder, this exercise doesn't matter as much. But in this practice, if you wish, you could perhaps start with your most organized side, is what I like to call it. The most organized side will kind of upload some information into your brain. And then when you go and do it in the more disorganized side, you're going to have those cues, that little carving out that samskara from that first side. So it's kind of like an an upload download dealio. All right, so this shoulder, we're finishing up, breathing our last few breaths, doing our last few up and downs or rolls to the side. And then we'll come on back to the mat and have a seat. Check out your shoulder mobility here. And let's do this. Come onto your hands and knees. And I want you to not move your pelvis so much here, but we're going to do a little cat-cow. We're going to do it with the mid-back and the upper back. So we're going to round through this upper back for cat and then inhale and reach forward for a cow. And notice how my hips aren't moving. I don't want your hips to move here. I just want the top part to move. Make sure you're breathing here. Let's do another one. Fantastic. All right, let's come out. For this next exercise, we're going to take a block. Now, we're going to start to move the shoulder joints. So you have a ball and socket shoulder here. I want you to think about your top shoulder is moving, your top arm is moving out of the shoulder joint forward and then gliding back into the shoulder girdle, forward and back. And I want you to focus on this muscle that's kind of underneath your shoulder blade, that's subscapularis, and we want that muscle to work here. Breathe in and out of your nose. A lot of shoulder problems come about because people normally do a lot of pushing activities or front of the shoulder strength work, but not enough back of the shoulder work to deal with how much strength or stress they're dealing with in the front of the shoulder. Let's go ahead and switch sides. And we'll glide forward and back. So what you'll notice is that in this practice, we're doing a lot of work for the back of the shoulder to create balance in the joint. When you have a balanced shoulder joint, you don't have so much pain, you don't have so much tug or pull, so much compression. And things just generally feel nice when that's happening. All right, let's push up to seated. Take another breath. You can ditch your block for now and check out your range of motion and how smooth and glidey that is now. Smooth, glidey shoulders, strong shoulders. Good range of motion. I like to really move slowly because normally we just kind of toss the arms around. And in this case, you can really feel when you move slowly the muscles that are creating this motion. So let's go to this exercise. This is a wonderful strengthener for the back of the shoulder. So we're going to start in this triangle position, and really the lower half of the body, I want you to get really solid because we're mostly concerned with the shoulder here. So as you rotate, I want you to rotate your belly button forward, your heart forward, and solid feet into the floor. This bottom arm, we don't have a lot of pressure in the wrist. I want you to make sure that if someone were to come kick the block out from under your hand, you could stay exactly where you are without toppling over. So watch the arm. I'm really squeezing the muscles in the back of the blade here. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And I'm definitely not flinging my arm around. I'm going to use real slow movement because I want to work the muscles in the back of the shoulder. And if I just fling my arm around or move quickly, I'm going to miss that whole operation. So I'm lifting the arm and then I'm bringing the arm forward in this plane. So what you're going to see is your arm out in front of your face and your fingertips towards probably your screen. Now I want you to slide your shoulder blade down toward the hips. That's what that little motion was I was doing there. So the shoulder blade glides down toward the hips so you have a lot of space between your ear and your shoulder. And we're breathing here. We're holding this position. Slow, steady, smooth breath. Slowly, gently lifting the arm. Slow, slow, slow. Lifting, slow, slow. Up toward the ceiling. There we are. Now taking the muscles in the back of the blade and squeezing them so that the arm drops back. We're going to hold. Now, I don't want you to tire your shoulder muscles out too much. So if you're at about 75 to 80% squeeze, that's a good sweet spot. And then slowly, slowly bring your arm forward. See how slow I'm going? This is like, if you've ever been to a Tai Chi class, it's not about who's the fastest. It's more like who's the slowest. Who's moving slow and just really kind of getting lost in this movement. Here's the front view. You can see this arm. I'm coming back up now. I'm going slow, slow, slow. This is like super tortoise speed. Slow. That's right. And if your neck gets tired, I've got this like ragdoll neck. I just let my neck kind of flop toward the floor. Now taking the arm up and alongside the ear. Again, sliding that shoulder blade toward the hip. And then, gosh, so slow, moving the arm up. Now I'm taking the arm. It's going to go alongside the hip on this one. But I hope you're moving so slowly you can't even see that happening yet. Good. And when you exhale, exhale, stand. And then just stand for a moment and notice your shoulder that you just worked. It might feel completely different from before. I just want you to get that sensation. And notice how your shoulders are hanging. Notice the freedom there. So this contributes to really good posture, has your chest lifted, takes pressure off the heart, and it also helps your shoulder find its most natural position. And the idea is that when you stand straight, you never have to pull your shoulders back. They just hang in the correct position. And that correct position is a little bit more back than forward. So we're on the second side. We're breathing slowly and smoothly. We're drawing the arm back behind us. Here's the side view again. Back behind you. Squeeze the muscles. Again, the supporting arm should be light. If you've ever taken a ballet class, you don't grip the bar. You just lightly touch your middle finger knuckle to the bar. That's kind of how this is. Don't allow yourself to push down into the block. So the arm comes straight out. See, there's a straight line there. I'm taking the shoulder blade, I'm drawing it down toward the hip. And breathing. And I am counting my breath here. So what I'm counting is I'm counting 3 long, smooth breaths. I realize my breaths might be long, so it could be 4 for you instead of 3 as we're holding together. Slow, slow, lifting the arm towards the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing. And here we go. We're going to start squeezing the muscles in the back of the blade. Now drawing the arm behind. Ooh, squeeze those muscles. Make sure they're not squozen to 100%, but you just want them to be like 80% squeezed on. And breathing. Making sure your spine is long from hip to crown of the head. And then if your neck starts to get tired here, which it may, just drop your head like a little rag doll. Just drawing the arm up through the center and bringing it forward again. And again, it's slow. The slower you are, the more benefit you get out of this exercise. Slow, slow, lifting the arm towards the ceiling. Slow, slow, slow. It is a slow movement, you guys. Slowly taking the arm alongside the ear. And then taking the blade, glide it down toward the hip. Slow movement as we lift the arm up towards the ceiling. None of these movements are exactly difficult or complicated. I guess they could be difficult and just they require attentive strength. And then as you exhale, gently come out. Notice your shoulders. They're probably a little more even now. And free. And that's the idea here. All right, so now we're going to test out our dolphin pose. So dolphin is, the head's not touching the floor, even though it may look like it is. But what we're doing is taking the hips over the elbows more than anything else. And I'm using a block to space out my hands here because I don't want my hands to come together because that means that I'm going to work the front of the shoulder. I want you working the back of the shoulder. So this acts as like a little spacer here. If that went really well, try not using a block. Also, don't let your elbow or your hands come in. Keep your wrists right over your elbows. And if that's an issue, then you can always put the block back. And also, we're going to add some little kicks. So make sure your bottom leg doesn't go more than parallel with the floor. Otherwise, you can flip over. And that might not be fun if there's like some furniture or a wall there or something. But we want to get the body kind of floating up and rappelling down. I'm switching legs here. Just this is playful. I want you to breathe. I want you to have fun. And if this isn't where you're at today, really honor that and work on your dolphin. Sometimes this might be your bag, but sometimes maybe not. Let's go ahead and come out. Every day we've got a different kind of jam, right? Slowly, gently taking your arms forward and just kind of noticing that range of motion there. That's Very nice. Arms all the way up. Just notice your range of motion. And this is a nice setup for your resting. So I'd love for you to rest like 5 minutes here. And I have them set up so one of them is 6 inches high. I'm putting my spine over the middle of this 6-inch block and then putting the 9-inch under the head. And it allows for the chest to lift and the shoulders to just naturally be open. Palms up to the ceiling. Lots of breath. You guys are amazing. You're awesome. I really love it when you're working, you're listening to your body. You're honoring your body. Allowing the shoulders to open, allowing the chest to be open, and the tissue around the heart opens here. Just rest. That's all you got to do. So I appreciate you joining me today for this shoulder practice. So I'm wishing you all the good stuff today. And my name is Allison. I'm going to try out my shoulder dealio one more time, but maybe you're just resting, and that's cool. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Ciao for now.